Hello and welcome. We have with us General Sanjay Kulkarni, the first Indian Army officer to land on Siachen Glacier in 1984 as a part of Operation Meghdut. General Kulkarni, thank you very much for joining us on Republic TV.
Thank you. Thank you, Pranab.
General Kulkarni, the tensions between India and Pakistan are on a rise in light of the Pahalgam attack. I want to ask you, sir, what are the likely military options in front of India in case we want to avenge the attack, the Pahalgam attack?
See, Pakistan has been using terrorism as an instrument of state policy, and it's been doing that regularly. Primarily, more so after what Ziaul Haq said, that they would want to bleed India with 1,000 cuts. Military options, to me, would be ensuring that Pakistan does not use terror and let the Pakistani soil not be used for terror, because if it is a short little thing, they'll again resuscitate, because even though you can kill a number of people, there will be casualties on both sides, of course. When you are at war, you are bound to lose some men. They may lose more, we may lose less. But war, see, the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without a fight. Right. And therefore, you have diplomatic means, the political means. War is the last resort. Right. War is something that would be the last thing which, when Pakistan, and I see what you find a lot of international leaders trying to speak to India, trying to speak to Pakistan. We had our foreign minister interact with a lot of people, trying to tell them that, look, Pakistan is incorrigible, and there doesn't seem to, they need to be shown their place. Right. Because they are a nuisance, they are a rogue state and have a nuisance value. Right. And until unless you do that. So the diplomatic means or non-kinetic means, which India has already started off, which has again rattled them, the Indus Water Treaty, what we talk about.
My next question is, if you were a general leading the Indian Army right now, what would be your priority number one to get started to end terror once and for all?
See, the terror, to say that it will be totally eradicated seems difficult. But a terror which can be deterred is something that is feasible.
What would you do?
So now, for deterrence, it's essential that all their launch pads, in any case, since the Simla agreement seems as much as the IWT is in abeyance, so is the Simla agreement in abeyance. So we have the ex-LOC, so that because the ceasefire line is the one that was Karachi agreement, which is in existence. So the LOC is become defunct, and therefore the requirement would be very much that we at least straighten it up the way that we want it, because if it's now free for all, because it's absolutely and you find the Pakistanis are vacating posts and running behind, pulling down their flags and pushing back. So that is something which at no point of time the routes of infiltration, if should they be coming in. Obviously there are a lot of tunnels that the Pakistanis have done. They use sarkandas, the vegetation that grows very huge. They want to come down, drone, there's that and everything. So it is very essential is to deter, because the Pakistan army, which is the source of terror, requires deterrence. And that deterrence can only come and can destroy that. And that destruction is obviously, there will be so many options available to the chief to be able to do, how he wishes to do it,
right,
and what it would be. But at the same time, anything and everything below, it shouldn't get too much, like the Russians went in with the Ukrainians, the hope that for a short time it gets extended. What happens with extended warfare?
I want to in fact come to you that how likely is it that a conflict may just explode into a full-fledged war?
See, what happens is Pakistan is not equipped to fight a long war. So they would want to just finish it off in 7 days and bring in China, bring in all their friends of Turkey and everything to ensure that it's halted. The aim at all times would be short or long, whichever way. War is the last option. The war is not the first option, because irrespective of whatever it may be, in any this thing, because a terrorist, even if you heard Musharraf, he said it, that the kind of people the Pakistan army, the Pakistan as a country has been able to do it is again at the behest, like their own defense minister said, at the behest of America. So you find that the Americans have been encouraging them to have this kind of a outfit of terror for almost 3 decades. If that be so, and Musharraf saying that, well, we had to ensure that the Soviet Union is defeated, and they went into a coalition with the Americans to defeat the Soviet Union in Afghanistan. So they had the Afghanis themselves, they had the Taliban, which he says were the people who were from madrasas, which the Pakistan army trained them, equipped them and made them capable of fighting. You had the Mujahideens, and these Mujahideens, according to him, came from world over. There were about 30,000-40,000 Mujahideens who were coming from world over to be able to fight the communists, that is the Soviet Union. And he says that yet there was another category called the mercenaries, and the mercenaries again joined in. So he says there's such a huge, he used to say there's a huge set of people who are absolutely crazy because they all have AK-47s. And he says it's beyond him to control this Wild West. And now it's very difficult, he says. It's absolutely difficult to control this Wild West, which has now grown up, now under the control of the Pak army. Despite being so much, you find that the Pak army itself is on a back foot in Balochistan.
Right.
It's not able to fight.
In fact, my question is that how likely is a disintegration of Pakistan? How visible or evident is it right now?
All of them are Muslims. Now you can't say that they are not Muslims. All of them are Muslims. All of them understand each other. But the exploitation by a Punjabi Muslim of a Baluchi is something that Baluchis are not liking. Similarly, they find the Punjabi Muslim exploiting a Pashtun, a Pathan, he is not liking. But to satisfy the Pathans and not wanting them to go to Afghanistan, because the Afghanistan are 50% Pathans and 50% of those Pathans are in Pakistan. So they have to meet their aspirations. He named that northwest frontier province in that area Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. That Khyber is the place where they come and in and around, because that's the pass that they use. And Pakhtunkhwa means place for Pashtuns. They don't want Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, they want Pashtunistan. So you have Pashtunistan or Pakhtunistan, whichever way you want to call it, the Baluchistan, then you have Punjab and you have Sindh. So you have Punjab, so you have Pakistan is all set to be divided into four, because Sindh is not pulling along well, because Sindh also feels per se with Gwadar and all these kind of things there, Karachi port and all. So they are fed up. They are fed up of the exploitation, and the armed forces, which considered itself as the custodian of Pakistan all along since 1947, and they seem to feel the only army in the world which has a nation to itself. All other nations have an army. This is the only army which is a nation. But at point of time, Pakistan army held probably a good reputation vis-a-vis the civilian
which they probably want to now reclaim.
But today, their co-commander's house has been burned.
Precisely.
It's indicative that Pakistan army has lost, and the Pakistan army has a business interest in Pakistan to about $25 billion business. So Pakistan spends just about $8 to $10 billion on defense, but the Pakistan army as a business, the Fauji Foundation and all of it as a business of $25 billion. So you can well imagine what kind of money they are. So they also pump in about 5,000 crores into Kashmir just to instigate and just to keep the terrorism alive. Because he calls it a jugular vein. I don't know what kind of a vein is it. It's superbly, because Pakistan doesn't seem to realize that when India got independence, there were 30 families that ruled Pakistan. Over a period of time, there were 100 families that ruled Pakistan. You can see Nawaz Sharif, the kind of farmhouses they have, 6,000 acres with their own strip and their own choppers landing there and aircraft taking off small. So it's an indicative that that zamindari system, that Lord Sahib, this is there.
Why are they suddenly resorting to provocative firing along LOC when they should ideally be just sitting quiet rather than instigating India?
See, Pakistan uses, of course, all this firing is to push as much infiltration that can happen. Now, most people would say, so much of the army and so much of these people are there, one tier, second tier, third tier, fencing, all of it. How come these people can come? That's what generally the people feel. So it isn't like that. Firstly, you can't be at all the places. Secondly, this fencing which has been done over the years, it snows a lot. So therefore, you find that the snow itself, a lot of fencing gets destroyed over a period of time. Secondly, now the fence is on top, the chaps make tunnels down below. They come across through the tunnels over there. Then you have Sarkanda, which has grown heavy. Then you have bad weather. It may be raining, snowing, misty, foggy. You can't see someone 5 feet in front of you. So the poor thing, much you may have night vision devices and everything, it's very difficult. So an infiltration just need not be there. You can even come from Nepal here. You can come from anywhere and come on the highway, and once you've entered, now you're on the other side. So plus the sleeper cells over here. plus their OGWs are working over here. And even out of 10, they may be trying hard to infiltrate over the last 3 years. One of them succeeds, then another. For them, it's free. Time is not a constraint. For us, it's jungle bashing. It's 24/7. We are hunting for them at all times with all the input that may be coming to us. So it's very tiring for a soldier hunting for these people and not being able to find them. And here you find that these people have been infiltrated. They are trained, they are well equipped. As I said, Pakistan, even if it invests 5,000 crores, now the generation of revenue of this union territory of J&K would be about 20,000 crores. So that's the generation of revenue of this thing. Pakistan invests 5,000 crores to all these, I would say, terrorists who have nothing to do. Nothing to do. In fact, I don't mind sharing with you, I've seen so many families. I used to go around Gordon and Search as a commanding officer and even earlier time. You'd find in a family, there are about 6 to 7 male and females in a family. And one of them is a teacher, yet another in an Anganwadi, yet another an engineer, yet another police, and one a militant. You tell him, bloody hell, what nonsense here. How come the chap has got AK-47? They say, "Saab, to malum nahi hai." The chap is, he never gets in touch with us. He's been out for the last 2-3 years. We don't know what it is. All false here. Absolutely false. Because that chap, a Kashmiri, he will always be in touch with his mother. His mother really knows where the son is. And that family earns a goodwill in that particular village that yes, my son is a jihadi or a mujahid or whatever they want to call it, who's fighting for the cause. And the whole village in and around respects that family. And ill-gotten wealth, because now, after the abrogation of Article 370, you find certain amount of administration, chaps are under taxation, their accounts are also on. Otherwise, it's free for all. The chaps did just what they wanted. Nobody knew what exactly they were doing. So this kind of check, but good luck for them. Tourism, picked up 2 crore people on tourism. Right. Fantastic development, lovely roads, trains, shops. You go down there, you don't find a place to stand in the tulip gardens. You don't get a place to stand.
So what happens now? Now that it has been pushed back, now that tourists have returned, what next for the army in terms of CIA?
See, it's very important that the people there, we can do whatever we wish to do. If the people there decide 72 hours, you will find everything will be finished. There will be no terrorism in this union territory of J&K in precisely 72 hours. If people decide, if the politicians there decide that enough is enough, this is an opportunity that they've got, they find that it's going to be crippling the union territory's economy. So many tourists were to come and they're not coming any longer. Enough is enough. Pakistan is all set to only exploit them. They are not going to do anything. They have economically finished. What does Pakistan have? Pakistan can't give them one apple also. What to talk about it? So it's all in India. That when they stay, and they should stay peacefully. Right. Because if the union territory of J&K and the Muslims there in J&K decide that no more, for the first time, I see a lot of processions and demonstrations in favor of the poor people who have been shot, innocent people who have been shot, and all of them have come out, shops down, not because the terrorists called for the shops to be down, because the common man wanted it, that enough is enough, because it's going to cripple them. Their economy is going down. They have got used to good living now. There's 2 crores of tourists coming in, good roads, good development, good medical colleges coming up, good engineering colleges coming up, management colleges coming up. So much of opportunity has been given to them to go out. It's better. They must use it and openly come out, because I think there can be nothing better, because they are bringing in a bad name and to the Indian Muslims. Because the way the Chief of the Army Staff of Pakistan is talking about is bringing a divide between, he seems to be the Messiah of the Muslim. No, the Indian Muslims, I don't somehow always think right when Owaisi says something, but I found Owaisi saying something good, whatever be it. At least that man bloody got up and said, sorry, I am an Indian first, whatever it be, I'll handle it here, but I'm not going to be with Pakistan. They're bringing in disrepute to the Indian Muslim. So I think such sane voices, we all decide that, look, enough is enough. Pakistan is an enemy, Pakistan is using terrorism as an instrument of state policy, and that they are hate India, just hate India. And then that hate India, they are embarrassing the Indian Muslims who don't want to be with them, who are not at all with them. But poor thing, they get a bad name because what Pakistanis do.
Right. So I think development on military options remain open, but development and unity seem to be the only options in a longer term if we really have to bring Kashmir back to normalcy.
Well, but military options are very much there.
Right,
it's not that they're not on the table. They're very much there. But just as I said, war is the last resort. That's not the first resort. The last resort. But like they say, if he is not willing to accept it, then of course he'll be shown his place.
Wonderful. General Kulkarni, thank you very much. It was lovely talking to you.